includes spoilers, so if you haven't seen Anora yet, stay clear of this video, or if you just don't care about spoilers, welcome. Anora is directed by Sean Baker and stars Mickey Madison, Mark Edelstein, and Yuri Borisov. The film follows the life of Annie, who's a 23-year-old stripper that lives in Brooklyn. Her boss introduces her to a man named Ivan, who is the son of a wealthy family. Ivan starts to pay for Annie's services, and the two of them end up marrying each other. But once the news reaches Ivan's parents, her fairy tale life is now threatened. So I finally watched this year's Best Picture winner, Anora, and I was underwhelmed to say the least. It's not a terrible movie at all. It just doesn't have any substance, in my opinion. I think that it's a movie that is okay as just a sort of thriller or as a sort of romance, but it doesn't really offer any depth to the characters, and I just, at the end of the day, didn't really care much about Anora, the main title character. I think that she's really unlikable. That was my main issue with the film, is that she is unlikable, and most of the characters are unlikable too, like Ivan, for example. It's just really hard to root for characters when they don't have one redeeming quality for them. And while the movie is like really well directed by Sean Baker, I thought like the first 45 minutes of Anora was pretty entertaining. I liked seeing the life of Annie and like her day to day, and her being a sex worker I thought was explored well. I liked this part of the movie, but it's when like the henchmen start to come into the story, just about the time when they arrive to Ivan's place, that I really sort of lost interest in the film. I thought that that side of the story was handled poorly, and I just didn't care about them finding Ivan, to be quite honest with you. I didn't care for the story, and I would have much rather like watched a documentary. I think that it would have been a much more interesting 2 hours and 30-minute movie than just watching a story that wasn't really interesting, and I was sort of bored while watching this movie. The acting here is the strongest part of the film. If I had to pick like a standout, I thought that Mickey Madison was the best part of Anora, hands down. She is really great here, and I agree with her Oscar win. I thought that she was fantastic. Even though I did not like the character of Anora, I liked her in the movie. I thought that she was great in it. She just has great chemistry with the other actors. She like has a great back and forth with Ivan. I really like the chemistry between Annie and Ivan. I like the actor that played Ivan. I thought that he did great. Like, he really felt like a spoiled brat, and he was really just a terrible guy. I didn't like his character at all. Like I said, there was no redeeming qualities about him. And of course, like, their relationship is fake. It's not a real relationship. They're not really in love, even though like the movie kind of tells you that they were really in love, and I just don't buy it. I feel like that's where the movie misses its mark, because Anora doesn't love Ivan. I'm sorry, she doesn't love him at all. If that guy had no money, she would not have spent a week with him. She wouldn't have fallen in love with him. So to me, I think that the director here completely misses the mark on this love story. I didn't buy it, even though like that's what the director wanted to show us. He wanted to show us like sort of a stripper that lets her guard down. You know that near the end of the movie that Ivan isn't like a good man. He's a coward. He doesn't treat his wife well. He abandons her when the like henchman comes in. He just runs off from the house, and he leaves his wife behind. You can tell that this is a fake relationship. And while you do see in the movie that she sort of becomes attached to the henchman character played by Yura Borisov, who I thought was probably the most interesting character in the entire movie, to be honest with you. I really liked this guy's performance. She comes attached to Igor, which, like, their relationship I didn't think was developed enough in this movie. I thought that they needed more time to develop their relationship. And the film also ends in this sort of ambiguous way. And while some people would call the ending brave, I would call the ending unsatisfying. It really ends poorly, in my opinion. You are wondering, like, what was the point of this film? I didn't really like the way this movie concluded. Yeah, it's not really one of my favorite Best Picture winners. I mean, there have been some great Best Picture winners in the past, like Return of the King, Gladiator, No Country for All Men, The Departed. Even like last year, Oppenheimer. It's crazy that we go from Oppenheimer to Anora. They're just very vastly different films, but I don't feel like Anora deserves the Best Picture winner. It just doesn't. It's not a very like entertaining film in my opinion. It's well directed. I thought that the movie was well directed, but that's not enough. The story needs to be excellent. The acting needs to be top notch. Everything needs to be fantastic in order for the movie to win Best Picture. And I just want to talk about the Academy for a minute, because I don't understand why this movie won Best Picture, because there were so many other great movies that should have won in Anora's place. For me, my pick of the year was Dune 2. It was the best movie I saw in 2024, hands down, and I thought that Dune 2 deserved to win. It was just a masterpiece of a film. I know that a lot of members, a lot of Academy members, they don't see everything. Some of them even admitted that, and I feel like sometimes they are biased against certain genres, and I know that we're all human, and I know that we have our preferences, our movie preferences, and our dislikes and stuff like that. I understand that. But you have to put all of that aside when you're voting. You have to be open to watch as many movies as you can, and you have to just vote for the best film that's in front of you, in my opinion. And I didn't think that Anora was a fantastic movie. It had a weak story. I thought it was just an okay movie. Like, an okay movie shouldn't win Best Picture. It's unfortunate, because if I had seen Anora and like they didn't had given it Best Picture, I would have thought like maybe it was a pretty good movie. But now I sort of judge it knowing that it got Best Picture, and I just don't think that the movie deserved being called that. I thought that just the characters were underwritten, just really unlikable. Story was kind of pointless. I'd give this movie a B minus. I didn't think that it was all that terrible, but it wasn't all that great either. It was just like middle of the road. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think about Anora down in the comments below. Do you think that it deserved getting the Best Picture title of 2024? I don't think that it deserved it. I was rooting for Dune 2 or Conclave. Those are my picks. But let me know what you think. Please like, comment, subscribe, and see you next time.